What is up, YouTube? This is Alucard AFK with another MTGO game with commentary. So we're on the black-blue control deck, mill discard, and it is a surgical extraction, 3 swamps, a ponder, a Phyrexian obliterator, and a mana leak. So he'll play a mountain, and we got a ponder. So play another mountain. And we got a Mind Sculpt. We'll play another swamp. He'll play another mountain. And we got a Distress. So I'll go ahead and play another swamp. Go ahead and do a Distress. And his hand is a mountain, a Whip Flare. Whip Flare deals 2 damage to each non-artifact creature. Blasphemous Act. It deals 13 damage to each creature, but it's 9 mana. A mountain and Elixir Mortality. Now, and a Buried Run. I probably could have screwed his mana base up a little bit. I mean, he's got 3 mana already. I'd get rid of him, you know, a mountain or something, but Elixir Mortality is really the crutch for a lot of decks. It doesn't really matter what color you're playing. It's a 1 colorless to play it, and then for 2 additional, so like right now he could play it. He could bring it out, and then he could tap it for 2 mana, and you gain 5 life, shuffle Elixir Mortality, and your graveyard into your owner's library. So I go ahead and get rid of the Elixir Mortality. And I don't know how many he had in this deck. Some people play 1, some people play a playset. So with those things shuffling around in the library and pulling the other Elixir Mortalities and other things, you know, back into the deck, I go ahead and try to do a surgical extraction on it for 1 mana. And it just turns out that he has 1 of them in his deck, which is fine. So let's take a look at his library real quick. I mean, he's got 2 Blasphemous Acts, 2 Faithless Looting, a Fling, a Forest there, 4 Galvanic Blast, 3 or 4 Ichor Wellsprings, a Kessig Wolf Run, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more mountains, a Synth Wellspring, Phyrexian Core, and whenever I see the Phyrexian Core, even though I saw these other artifacts sitting over here, I know there's a heavy artifact. So yeah, 3 Phyrexian Cores, 3 Pristine Talismans, 2 Ratchet Bombs, 4 Rootbound Crags, a Stuffy Doll, Thragtusk, Tormund's Crypt, 3 Trading Posts, 4 Tumbler Magnets, and a Unwinding Clock, 2 Whip Flares, and 2 Wormcoil Engines. So he's really do a Mind Sculpt, and he gets a Wormcoil Engine in it. Sacrifice Buried Run and return target artifact card from his graveyard to his hand, so he can get a Wormcoil Engine back. He can get any of the other, you know, utility artifact cards back. So that's why it's not going to work so great. But we go with it anyway. At least we know now. So we go ahead and exile Elixir Mortality. And honestly, I'm not really worried about Wormcoil Engine. The Obliterators do their job just fine against blocking against everything. Even though it's got Death Touch, it's really no more greater than a Vampire Nighthawk going against Obliterator. It's just going to do more damage to Phyrexian Obliterator, and they're going to have to sacrifice more permanents. So, having said that, I won't hesitate to mana leak it. So, so we got a Mind Rot. It's really the only thing we can play. So he gets rid of a Blasphemous Act and a mountain. So we finally hit blue source. So we'll go ahead and do a ponder. and 2 swamps and a drowned catacomb, so I'll go ahead and rearrange that to get a drowned catacomb. And you'll finally pull out the buried run. Got a swamp. I'll play a drowned catacomb. And at this point, I could have put Phyrexian Obliterator out. I did Mind Sculpt anyway, just so we can get this buried run Wurmcoil Engine out of the way. It was very predictable that he was going to do that. If Wurmcoil Engine came out in his deck, then he could just use buried run at this point, and we wouldn't have to save our mana leak for it. So, in fact, it did come out in that top 7 cards, so we get rid of a Tumbler Maggot, actually 2 Tumbler Magnets, Pristine Talisman, a Wolf Run, a Mountain, and a Wurmcoil Engine, the one of 2 in the deck. So he's going to use his buried run and get that back, which was fine. And Wurmcoil Engine is 6, so 3, 4, 5. So he'll have to get another mana source now. We just got to be sure to leave mana open for mana leak, because he'll be tapping all of his mana to get Wurmcoil Engine out. So no swamp, we'll play it. Go ahead and do a ponder. Go for the throat, swamp, and ponder. His only creature is Thragtusk. That's not an artifact, so go for the throat will not work against Wurmcoil Engine. So we go ahead and rearrange it, but then we also say go ahead and shuffle our library, and we got a mana leak, which is great. So we don't play Phyrexian Obliterator out yet. We do want to keep mana open because he's going to do Wurmcoil Engine. And there's the 6 land, and he'll tap all of his lands for Wurmcoil Engine. Wurmcoil Engine is really nice with that ability to get him back from your graveyard, but it's 6 mana, so early on, it's just when you try to cheat them out like this, kind of, not really cheating him out, it's just getting him to your hand, essentially. He would have drew eventually. I like this better, knowing when he's going to come out, so we'll go ahead and mana leak it. And it'll go to his graveyard. And he only had 1 buried run in the entire library, so he'll have to use Trading Post to get it back now. So we got Island. And we'll go ahead and put Phyrexian Obliterator out. We pulled out a Pristine Talisman. And we got a Dark Slick Shores. We'll go ahead and play it. Tapped. We don't need it for anything. We have plenty of mana open for mana leak, and we can't play anything else anyway. So we'll swing in for 5. He'll go to 15. And he'll try to put Trading Post out, or actually he will be successful because he does have 3 mana. I go ahead and mana leak it at this point. I know I probably should have saved it for when he uses Trading Post to get Wurmcoil Engine back yet once again. But like I said, by the time that he gets that out, I was totally expecting one of the other Obliterators to pop in. There's 4 in this deck. It always seems to rotate where we get all 4 of them out, or at least 3 of them. So again, I'm not really that worried. So we go ahead and mana leak it just so he can't play anything else. And so he would have to, if he had any mana open at this point, he can discard a card and gain 4 life, which is pretty close to Elixir Mortality. He could pay 1 life and put a goat onto the field, which then he would be able to sacrifice a creature and return the artifact from the graveyard to his hand. But he would need 2 mana total to do that. And he can sacrifice an artifact and draw a card. And there comes our second Phyrexian Obliterator. So we'll go ahead and play him out. Play our Island. Swing in with Phyrexian Obliterator. He'll go to 12. Got a swamp. Let him think we have something in our hand. Swing in with 2 Phyrexian Obliterators. And so he will pay 1 life to get a goat creature. And then see, he won't be able to sacrifice that goat creature until next turn. So he goes down to 2. So he sacked the creature, return artifact from his graveyard to his hand. So he was going to go for the Wormcoil Engine. So he's got 4, 5, 6. So he'll have enough mana to cast it. But instead of doing Wormcoil Engine, he does a Blasphemous Act. Blasphemous Act costs 1 less to cast for each creature on the battlefield. So instead of 9, it costs 7. Blasphemous Act deals 13 damage to each creature. Now, I probably would have pulled... See, if he pulled the Wormcoil Engine back, we still would have swung in next turn with 1 Phyrexian Obliterator, and he would have lost the game. At this point, I think I would have just let me win. Let me swing in the next turn, because Blasphemous Act is going to deal 13 damage to each creature. So that is going to be, if you had that many permanents, it would have to sacrifice 26 permanents. So he's going to get rid of his entire mana base by doing this. So if you had any hope of winning the game before, you don't now. So I'm not even going to call him out. He's just going to sacrifice all those lands. And so it's going to be a little bit slow from here on out. Darkslick Shores, we'll play a Swamp. Got a Distress, we'll go ahead and play it. We'll go ahead and get rid of... He's got no mana base there at all, so he can't play anything. I could get rid of some of his 2-drop cards or 2 mana cards, but we just go ahead and get rid of Wormcoil Engine just for to stick it in there. And we're not playing all our swamps. We've got plenty of mana. So every other turn we'll play some sort of land. So we'll play a Rootbound Crag. So there's really nothing for him to ramp up to now. There's one other Wormcoil Engine in the deck, but you'd still have to have 6 mana to get there. So anyway, drew a Phyrexian Obliterator, so we'll go ahead and play him out. Player a Swamp. He'll do a Galvanic Blast, which deals 2 damage to the target creature or player, so he'll do it to us. Whoop-de-doo. And he'll concede on turn 17. He just wanted to get that little last shot in there. And like I said, I would have conceded. I wouldn't have done the 13 damage to each Phyrexian Obliterator. What do you think? What would you have done differently? Comment, like, and subscribe. We'll catch you later. Bye.